Hello, everyone. This is group 12, and our nutrition issue will be the added sugar. So I'm going to start with the introduction. At-risk population, non-Hispanic white children and adolescents face the highest risk for such health effects. A study by the NIH described that non-Hispanic white children and adolescents consume a large percentage of their calories from added sugar than other race groups.
The consumption of added sugars can be problematic for children as it increases many health risk factors. Data has shown that added sugars make up 16% of children and adolescents' total caloric intake. Non-Hispanic white children and adolescents specifically consume the most added sugar. This is important to consider as today there is a substantial increase in the prevalence of children and adolescents being overweight and obese in the US, making it a main public health concern resulting in negative health consequences such as cardiovascular disease. According to American Academy of Pediatrics, the consumption of added sugar also puts children at risk for tooth decay, high cholesterol, and other health problems. The main source of added sugar in the US for children is sweetened beverages. And as added sugars have no nutritional value, they just lower the quality of children's diets.
One of the biggest sources of added sugars that children consume is sugar-sweetened beverages, along with 100% fruit juice. An intervention study was begun to see how educating parents on SSBs can change the diets of their preschool children for the better, with the outcome measures being the availability of SSBs for the child at home, as well as the consumption of them by the child. Two groups of parents were compared, one that received SSB-related information for 10 weeks, while the other received similar information without anything specific to SSBs. This study was posted in 2019 and had finished recruitment by the end of the year. And as all data is supposed to be collected over 3 years before the results are finalized, the study is still ongoing. In 2015, another study was done that focused on how reducing the consumption of added sugars by obese children, even without reducing the total amount of calories consumed, can reverse chronic metabolic diseases. Obese children between the ages of 9 and 18 who also had at least one chronic metabolic disorder were fed a diet low in sugar for 9 days. The calories lost from the restriction of sugar were replaced by calories from starch, such as bagels, cereal, and pasta. Additionally, the amount of fructose that children consumed was also decreased. After 9 days, the participants' metabolic health was improved in every aspect, with blood pressure, triglycerides, fasting blood glucose, insulin levels, and LDL cholesterol being reduced, and liver function being improved.
For the first intervention, the goal was to measure if a reduction in children's sugar-sweetened beverage consumption is achieved after completing a nutrition education program. And so the strengths include actively engaging parents through an interactive display board and providing informational handouts to reinforce information provided. One of the major weaknesses was that the intervention relied on parent participation, and a modification would be advertising and encouraging participation. So the education program is an excellent and effective strategy to target parents of non-Hispanic white children. For the second intervention, the goal is to reduce obese children's consumption of added sugar through a diet that restricted sugar and substituted in starch. The strength was that health benefits such as metabolic health significantly improved when added sugar intake was reduced. One of the weaknesses is that children might resist or refuse a lower added sugar diet because they prefer sweet flavors. A modification that can be done is slowing the reduction of children's added sugar intake to smooth out the transition rather than taking away all added sugars at once. And so encouraging non-Hispanic white children to gradually adopt healthy eating behaviors will effectively increase their overall health.
Just like what was mentioned with the public health interventions and their evaluations, it was really important how the educational aspect impacted the target population. So for the future recommendations, we wanted to point out that in 2020, the Food and Drug Administration started including added sugars in their nutrition labels. So in the future, we would like to narrow that down and do an educational campaign that would target white American children and adolescents. The goal would be to train the target population and their parents, since that has been shown to be effective, how to read the added sugar labels on the nutrition labels and what they actually mean. And the way to do this would be to teach the population and their parents what foods have added sugars, how much they have, and what amounts of added sugars are healthy and unhealthy, according to the individual.